Oh, hallelujah. Let's put our hands together for him. All right, so if you know that there's a space in front of you, please move forward. Please move forward. Don't let me mention names, I beg. I beg, let's move forward. Let's move forward. Thelma. Abrel. Okay. Okay. Amen. All right. It's a business Thursday, and you are all welcome to the first day of the Youth Week celebration. And just to go, we are far behind time, so I'm going to ask you some few questions, if you don't mind. All right. So, Kweku, can you please get a microphone? All right. So, the first question is, why are you here? Why are you here? Why are you here? Please, can you give the microphone to Monica? Please, let's clap for her. You are here for a business talk. Hey, no. Please, let's clap for her. Okay, let's go to Faith. Let's go to Faith. Faith, I don't know what you do, but if you were to switch careers today, which career would you choose and why?
As a youth, I would say I would like to be an entrepreneur. Okay. So I'm expecting more from this business talk on how to set up a business of your own. And looking at this current economy, the current economy we are in, how are we supposed to plan ourselves to set up a business as a youth?
Okay, so that's why you are here. Yes, but my question is, if you are to switch careers, apart from being an entrepreneur, which career would you choose and why?
I would choose to be a singer.
Okay. Why?
The reason is that's what I found as a purpose that God has also called me for. And I can also use that as to bless others and also make a living for myself as well.
Okay, please let's go to Auntie Cynthia, Dickness Cynthia. Dickness Cynthia, I know you're a banker. So if you're asked to switch careers, which career would you choose and why?
Maybe I haven't thought of it. I enjoy what I am doing.
You enjoy what you are doing?
Yes, I get fulfilled. I haven't thought of changing.
Okay, so if you enjoy being, if you are fulfilled, then what helps you thrive in the banking sector?
What helps you thrive in the banking sector?
Yes, please.
It depends on where you find yourself. Mm-hmm. There are a whole lot of things. So it depends on where you find yourself and what you are doing.
And what you are doing. Okay, let's go to Elom. My question remains the same. If you asked to switch career, which career would you choose and why?
The same answer she gave. I have not thought of it.
Mm-hmm. You've not thought of it. Okay. So, not to waste much time, today we have three very important people in our midst. And I'll pass on the microphone to our moderator for today, that's Pastor Nick, to take over. So please, let's welcome him.
If you're clapping, do it better, do it better, do it better. So it's our youth week, and it's become necessary for us to run this program tonight. And we are privileged to have 3 key professionals, let me put it that way, professionals, who are coming to share their experience and for us to pick things out of it. But I think Linda asked a critical question. How many of us, when we were growing up, we had professions in mind? How many wanted to be doctors? How many wanted to be lawyers? How many wanted to be engineers? How many wanted to have business on their own? Okay. And down the line, how have we drifted or shifted from our original focus and our original plan? Maybe I'll share mine with you. I wanted to be a medical doctor and pursued it until the university level. And of course, in terms of the selection and limited intake, I had to probably switch to do agriculture. But now when you ask me the same question now, I'll tell you that I wouldn't want to switch profession. I wouldn't want to switch profession because I have come to love nature. I have come to love what I do. And you see, nature is one thing that had different views and diversity, and every single day it changes. And so I have fallen in love. But today we are going to learn a few things, and before that, we will quickly introduce our guests, and we'll run through them quickly. In the meantime, if you have any questions or things that are bothering your mind, we'll give you room to be able to ask those questions, and then would also invite contributions and things along the line. But first of all, let me take this opportunity to thank God for our pastor, our bishop, Reverend Dr. Steve Mensah, through whose grace we have the opportunity to sit here and interact. And let's also do it better for our senior pastor, Reverend Marvin Amponsa Entry. A lot of us may not know him, but for our guests, this is the one who is pastoring us. Now let's go straight to our action. So let me start from my yes, to my immediate right is we all know her, Dickness Etonam Blege. She's an HR professional and currently works in the food industry, making sure that all of us, what we hunger for and what we dream of, we get satisfied. And I believe that she will share a lot with us. She's a deaconess of CM Caris Temple, and it's a pleasure to have you, Deaconess Eto. So maybe in order not to leave some things out, it's not just that she's working in the food industry. She has a number of experience also from the airline industry. She's been a member of the Chartered Institute of Human Resource. And I guess that she has a passionate drive for the youth like you and I. So let's do it once again better for him, for her. Then next to her is, I'm sure that you haven't seen her here before, and it's a pleasure to invite her. She's called Sweetie Abochi. She's a media personality who is currently co-hosting the AM show on Joy News. And then they discuss very prominent national issues. Maybe for those of you who don't have time to tune in the morning, you can tune into Joy News, and every single item that appears on the news item, they scrutinize it, they ask the critical questions, the mind-boggling ones. And it's a pleasure to have her here to share with us her practice and her passion. And she tells me she's very much looked forward to this meeting. And it's also a pleasure to have you, sweetie. And in addition to what she does at Joy News, she has set up what we call the Girl Get Up Africa. And they've recently launched a mentee book club. When we say mentee book club, those who want to learn from others, who want to understudy people, she has launched that club. So maybe along the line, that can be introduced so that as many people that can get enrolled, they get enrolled. So, sweetie, it's a pleasure having you once again. Then we have, at least to make it a bit balanced, we have one other man, the only man among the panel. The only man among the panel. I'm sure a lot of us, this might not be the first time we are seeing him. He's been here before. He came and then impacted us with some critical information which enabled me to take certain decisions on certain things. And he's called Derek Abaite. He's a pharmacist. He's an entrepreneur. He's a podcast creator. You can name it. And he also hosts Connected Minds, helping people on business, lifestyle, and self-development. So today we are coming to embrace a lot of things, right? From the key professional perspective, and then also from the entrepreneurial point of view. We very much look forward to have you. Mr. Abaite, you are welcome. And so to start with, I got very intrigued about some statistics that keep flying back and forth. And not until the recent past, we had an association called National Association of Unemployed Graduates. How many of you have heard it before? An association of unemployed graduates. And I began asking, some time ago, you need to hide yourself if you don't have a job. But now it has become so common that they can form an association and make their voices heard. And when I decided to look at the details, Ghana now we have about 31 million people. The statistics show that about 3.6% of us are unemployed. 12% of graduates are unemployed. We have about 65 people who are working, but the work they are doing is below what they are capable of doing. What is the issue? Is it that the jobs are there and we can't find it? Or they are not there and it has to be created? Or they are there and maybe we don't do something right? Let me start with Deaconess Etonam.
Okay, thank you very much, Pastor Nick. It is quite very unfortunate with the current trend. You are very right with your submission. I remember in the last few years we had there was this fair at the conference center, job fair, and the startup. In fact, I was personally there, and I got very emotional. Very, very emotional because there was actually a stampede of people who have completed school but in dire need of jobs. So some people had to travel all the way from the north, from the west, to be part of that fair. See? So that platform, it gave us a lot of insight on, when we talk of unemployment, it is a real issue. From my point of view, I think we should start looking at it from how our programs are structured in our schools. That is one of the core, that is the kind of programs that we have in our universities that our youth are, taking up. They go to school, they claim they're in the university, they do certain programs, and then come out, and then there are no jobs, there are no jobs available to have them employed. That is one. And I also feel that it is also a leadership issue that is nationwide, like from the very top. Because there's always this, people are making the noise that unemployment. So the question is, have we sat down as a people, as our leaders, have we sat down to think through and look at where the deficiencies are so that we address it as such? So that is what I would say, because one, looking at the school structure, the programs that are being offered in our institutions, and then two, a leadership issue. That's what I'll say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me also give the opportunity to Sweetie. What is the general perspective of the job market now as we see it, and how glimpse is the opportunity to get somebody, bringing you on board his business? How is it like?
Hi. Okay, great. Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
Before I answer that, I want to ask if we understand what a job really is, or what kind of ideals we have when we think about a job. Most young people go to school, they graduate, and they want to sit in an office to do something that at the end of the month, they get paid a salary. If you ask me what the current climate is in terms of the job market, it's gloomy. It's gloomy because there are a lot of people who are not skilled enough for the jobs that are actually available. And there are a lot of people who have skills that are not employable. So it's like a demand and supply issue, So young people go to school to read architecture. They go to school to read music, dondology, fine arts. They go to read things like, the courses that are being offered in schools these days. But if you look at the kind of people who are asking for skills, employable skills, they're looking at data science. They're looking at in AI. They're looking at technology. They're looking at things that era that we are in now. It is the fourth industrial revolution. And so no matter what you do, nobody's looking for an accountant. Because there are systems that can do the job of an accountant. Nobody's looking for a bank teller. I don't remember the last time I went to the bank because I do everything on my mobile phone. So it's not about unavailability of jobs, it's about unavailability of employable skills. And the other side of it too is that we are looking for things that we can create for ourselves. And I'm hoping that this can be as practical as possible, so I'm going to share my life experience with all of us here. Until 2 years ago, I was employed, gainfully employed at Farmhouse Productions. I was in productions, I was an account manager. I loved it. I woke up every morning, dressed up corporate, and I went to sit in the office to work. At the end of the month, I got a salary. In about 6 months, they had increased my salary. I was so excited. But that wasn't really what I wanted to do. So, long story short, one day I woke up and I quit my job. I didn't have a plan. I just knew that in order for me to get to where I wanted to be, I needed to first create a deficit for myself. Why? Because I'd always, since I was born, I told myself I wanted to be a journalist, right? I started from GTV Sports Plus. When you start, nobody's paying you anything. So, and I got to the point where I was self-reliant. So I had to stop that and go find something to do for myself. I spent some time abroad. I came back home. And then I got the Farmhouse job. After 2 years, I quit. And because I had quit, I went to every TV station in this country. You have to trust me, I did that. Because, one, I was self-reliant. Two, I wanted a specific kind of thing. I wanted to be a journalist. I didn't want to be in a place where you send me around to buy wachi for you as an intern, and then I'm not learning anything. So I in Accra, let me say. And in every interview I sat in, I think I impressed the people. Not because I was doing anything extraordinary, but because I'd consumed so much knowledge. And in all the time that I was at Farmhouse, every evening before I go to bed, I'm quite intentional. So you have to, that's one thing, a skill that you all need in life. You have to be very intentional with your life. I would read something about something happening in Israel, something happening in America. So I knew what news was. I knew current affairs. I could talk about anything, give any topic, and whack lyrics because I'd read. And so those were I had it. Thank you. So to answer the question, there are jobs if you're looking for it, but you need to get the skills that are employable. And if you do not want to do something just to get by, it doesn't matter what circumstances you find yourself in. Start right now. My family, at the time my boyfriend, now my husband, everybody thought I was crazy that I quit my job without a plan. But I knew what I wanted. And in every interview I sat in, I ensured that they knew my name and they remembered me. So get the skills and get a unique selling proposition, something that makes you stand out. And when you walk into a room, nobody will forget you. Unfortunately, I have never been unemployed before. And that's because I've always had whatever it took to get me the job I wanted.
Okay.
So it's about, am I going too far?
Yes. Maybe let me interject. You see, like you said, people have skills that there are no jobs for, or they don't have the skills for which the jobs are available. You know, currently, we all go to school. They structure subjects for us to study. You virtually do everything that has to be put in front of you until you get to the secondary level where you start determining what you want to do. And it's surprising that today or by Monday, a new batch of people are going to school. I understand the structure has been changed once again over a 10-year period. The contents had been changed a little. And unfortunately, as consumers, you have no option than to consume it. Now, what do you do to be able to align the skill and the knowledge with what is available, the jobs available?
You understand the era we're in right now. like I started saying, it's the fourth industrial revolution, which means that technology is at the helm of affairs. So it would be a big shoot in your foot to go to school to read. Although I did it, I read English language, but if you go to school right now to read English language, because that's the only option you have, get something else that's employable.
Okay.
So don't just follow through the system that's laid out for you. Aspire to create something more for yourself. The only reason there are more people who are not employed is because most of them have done the same things and are expecting the same thing and have the same qualities and have the same skills and have the same level of knowledge. If you're able to move past that, if you are able to move yourself from the 100 or 1,000% to the 1%, your story will be different.
Thank you very much. So get something different in addition to what everybody has. Derek, we've been talking about putting an application. I remember my current workplace. I can recall the number of applications I sent to the same place. You go, either they will throw it somewhere or they can't remember where the application was placed. Even if it was placed on file, in terms of the search, they may not get to you. Derek, how have you navigated this course to make sure that you are not vulnerable to the current challenges in terms of getting employment from somebody?
Yeah, it's very interesting you ask me that because naturally I don't believe in jobs, right? So it's a really tough question for me, but I'll do my best.
Yeah.
I'd rather speak about entrepreneurship rather than jobs.
Yeah.
But okay, so I've never been employed in Ghana,
Okay.
right? It's always been the UK.
Yeah.
And this is how I did it from the beginning.
Okay.
If I put an application in today, I know how email systems work.
Okay.
So if I send my CV on a Friday to the email, I know by Monday morning when the boss gets to the desk, it will be at the bottom. So I will send it Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and on the Monday morning I will send it about 5 times to make sure it get back to the top. Essentially, that's it.
What an answer. Did you get it? Did you get it? So it means that you don't drop an application and go to sleep. And I was just telling my experience where to the same place I had to send several of it. And even the one that got me the job, I had to resubmit an application personally to somebody. But coming back to the key issues, we all wanted to be some people. And when you are young, if you are not a doctor, you have to be a pilot. If you are not a pilot, you have to be a lawyer. If you are not a lawyer, maybe if you remember, you have to be an engineer. And apart from this, we don't think about any other thing. I have passion for farming. I have passion for farming, and indeed, I'm a farmer. If I have the opportunity now, maybe I will completely divulge what I'm doing and go back into farming. But let me ask, we are talking about skill sets, and like she's saying, skill sets. What are the skills that when applications come to your table, you try to look at, not how beautifully the application has been written, but what are the things that you look out for to determine that, okay, let me throw this somewhere. Let me take a second look at this. And how has it been packaged? What are the things that you look out for?
Okay, when it comes to skills, one of we look at soft skills, and then technical skills. So when you are applying for a job, or let's say, when you are applying for a job, you need to, in case it's maybe if it's an advert or there's an opening somewhere, you need to tailor the application to the job description. And then let's assume that, I always say, let's assume that maybe for that particular job, whatever you did in school is slightly different from what the job states. But try and elaborate on, maybe through school, some of the courses you did, something that can suit the job description. These are some of the things we look out for. Something when your CV must speak to the job description. Okay, so that would attract any employer. That is number one. And then soft skills, your communication, even the CV. The CV itself speaks a lot. You know, some people, they put so much on the CV, but now there are a lot of tools that, you can use to compress your CV beautifully and summarize your profile. And then elaborate on the job description. The technicalities of it, that's the skill, and then maybe any soft skill, teamwork, leadership skills especially. You elaborate on it. So your resume should suit the job. That is what we look out for.
Okay. Do resumes actually really work in modern day Ghana, where sometimes you have to know somebody in order to know somebody and know somebody before you can? Are resumes actually reliable?
Okay, so listening to my brother here, well, in elsewhere, the technologies, the systems work. So you don't need to follow up on anybody, after submitting, via maybe online. You don't need to do any follow-ups. All you need to do is maybe communicate through the email or phone calls or something. But there's a challenge in our environment where sometimes you are very confident of what you have. Maybe there's a job opening, that this job, suits what, or I fit into this job. But unfortunately, sometimes you would send your CV online, but who would advise you to always do a follow-up? Would advise you to always do a follow-up. That is the reality of the current situation. Do a follow-up. So you do the online, and then maybe a follow-up with a phone call, although you go to, the places. So when you are writing your resume, please ensure. So I think some of the mistakes we do is we sit down, we conjure a single CV and then application, and then we throw it. We just throw it. But it doesn't work that way. Wherever you are sending your CV to, look at, the industry, consider the industry where the CV is going and the job that you are seeking. And then try and elaborate. And I'm emphasizing on that. Elaborate on the job so that when we have a lot of CVs before us, and for whatever opening is available, and we see that what you have, maybe through the email or hard copies or whatever, when we chance on it, there are some keywords we look out for, and then we get picked. The truth is, you will not have you not have us reading everything on your CVs and applications, but we have catchy, maybe how you have constructed and how you have arranged the CV. There are certain things that draws our attention, and that is what we go for.
Okay. There are certain things that draws your attention. Maybe let me give Sweetie an opportunity to see if you can highlight just on one or two. You have an application or an advert, and for 2 or 3 positions. If you are, most often it's just a position. In certain instances, you are looking for about 2 or 3 people, but the applications you receive are about hundreds or maybe thousands.
Let me just chip in here. When we went to the job fair, as at date, the applications we received, both soft copies and hard copies, we still have them from the job fair 2 years back. And so the truth is, with where I work, we are in, we coordinate with the YEA. Yes, we collaborate with them. You know, whatever they have, they keep sending us. But what we had, the backlog is still there. And the truth is, when we call some of these people, they show up. So it means that they are still in the system without jobs. Okay, so just to buttress what we are saying again, I think one of, depending on maybe your background, depending on your upbringing, depending on information around you, depending on the kind of setup you are coming from, that also plays a key. There are a lot of youth out there who they can't really find their bearing, especially if they don't have guidance, if they don't have people guiding them. So one of the things that is missing in the system is career guidance. Career guidance. We don't have it. So people just go to school. Yes, you may, as you said, I from a younger age, I wanted to go deep into physics. I was always interested in NASA. I would sit behind the TV and see how they, do all this. In fact, my interest was more in science fiction. So how they launched the rockets up into space and all that. So I was focused on doing physics. It ended me at the, air traffic. I mean, that was how, with the interest, I ended up at the air traffic. But the reality is, you go to school defines you. Exactly. Your grades, whatever grades whatever grades you get at school, now determines, your how do you call it?
Career path.
Your career path.
Yes.
So your dream of being, like my dream of being working as a scientist, that was my dream. Yeah. But you realize that you go through the school system and that is not the reality. So now if I have to move away from that area, we would advise that I got to know later that you should always have a plan A, a plan B, a plan C. You should have, a list of plans so that if plan A doesn't work for you, there should be a plan B and a plan C. But this can only be done when we also have, you see, most of our youth, they are vulnerable. Yeah. They don't really know much. We need to guide them. We need to couch that system where we give them the career guidance should be effected in our schools, in our institutions, so that by the time they are coming out, they are well informed.
But let me, if you look at the structure now, maybe at the JSS or at the SS level, now they have something they call career and technology. I don't really know what the contents of that. I thought that is supposed to be a point to enable them to have a fair idea and a fair something to trigger something in their thoughts as far as their career is concerned. Or in terms of the content, it doesn't match. Sweetie, are you very familiar with that?
No, but I've read on it. I have nieces who are still in school, so they talk about it. I think, simply put, it's not enough. What she's talking about is, the truth is, Africa is always playing catch up, right?
Okay.
So in other developed countries, we have systems, we have facilities where you go and ask them to help you figure it out, and they'll, you know, even in the schools, we have counselors who help you. When you're applying to universities abroad, they even before you're admitted, there's a counselor who guides you with your application. We don't have all these. We don't have all that. So,
I thought, for instance, at the universities, there is a career and placement center, it's been scrapped.
how efficient are these?
Okay,
centers?
maybe that's another question.
Not to say that they're not doing their work.
Okay.
but how efficient is the work that they're doing?
Okay.
Because, for example, if you go and tell your counselor in the university that you want to be a football analyst, so to speak, they're going to tell you to watch the games. They're going to tell you to follow and know football. They're going to tell you to get in touch with someone who knows sports. They're going to, they'll teach you what they know. But in other places, they'll actually find a football expert or someone to actually tell you his or her story on how they got there. And you can trust me, no two stories are the same.
Yeah.
But if you listen to what someone did differently, sometimes it gives you a cue on how you can also carve out your own path. And yet, let me circle back to the question of what makes you stand out.
Yeah.
And I like the submission you gave because it's perfect. I just want to add that it's again back to unique selling proposition. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that there are too many people trying to do the same things.
Exactly.
So, for example, you're applying for a job that hundreds of people are applying for or to, and everybody is likely to put it on a white paper and print it and send it. You know what I would do? I'll find a red paper. I would find something that makes you see what I want you to see. Because I've become so good at, I need to stand out. We are, over 3.2 million people in this country. Recent Afrobarometer report says that nearly 2.1 million young people are neither in employment, nor in training, nor any sort of skill.
And the statistics keep growing.
Out of that, you think that if, like she said, the thousands of CVs that they receive, they're going to have time to pick out every white paper they find in every brown envelope they see? I am going to draw some things on that paper. And so when you see it, you're like, who is this crazy girl? And then when you open it, oh, yeah, I will make sure that I'm selling you something that even you cannot resist. So if you don't take away anything at all from today, take out unique selling proposition. What are you doing to make you stand out? Because, listen, everybody's doing the same thing. It's just a difference in approach that makes you stand out. All the media personalities you know about are the people who are doing something differently that have caught your attention. It doesn't mean they are the only people in the space. There are millions of us. You get what I mean? So unique selling, whether it's CV, whether it's entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is solving a problem, right? Yeah. And the problems are basically the same. So how are you solving it differently? In everything that you do, how do you stand out?
How do you stand out? Let's do it better. Let's do it better. And maybe if you are just joining us or you are listening to us online, this is our Youth Week, and today it's a purely business talk. We are looking at the most critical issue that confronts every young man, not only in this country, but in the world across. Recently, there had been issues about the immigration to Canada. People have flooded their place, and the young ones there are saying that some of the at least the little jobs that they can do during vacation is no longer available, and so it has become an issue. And so we are trying to delve deep into some of the things that we can look at that can sell us. And she just finished the point that let whatever you are presenting, let it stand out. Let it not be as the same thing. Derek, you have decided to stand out, not to conform to the basic ways of doing things. How do you do that?
So, one of the things I write on my Instagram is, chase the dream, not the competition. Now, me personally, as a pharmacist, number one, to speak on the whole job stuff first, I think education is made by the government to serve the government and the people, right? Now, don't take this out of context. It's okay. We need that. We need the doctors. We need the engineers. We know all these people. But if you dare to be different, you need to look at that system of go to school, get a job, come and work, and identify whether you want to be in there or you want to be out. Now, that's the point where the shift in mindset happened to somebody who wants to be entrepreneurial and the person that wants to be employed. Now, that being said, 22nd of September would be exactly 10 years since I started business. And this is what I did differently. You know, anytime I went to work, I hated it. I naturally don't like people telling me what to do. And, you know, I don't like the whole 9-to-5 system. That's just me individually. You may be here, something is boiling inside of you, just like me, and you want to follow that path. And then I quickly understood that I'm very different to the people I hang around with. I always want to be the one telling them what to do rather than somebody telling me what to do. So I started writing about myself. You know, I'll take a pen and paper, write about myself. In fact, I did that more than 10 times to discover who exactly I am and the path I want to take. So in college, I was about 17 years when I started ordering things from China to sell to my classmates. Fast forward, I finished university, and the exact same year I finished, I created our first business.
Great.
It's when we created the business, my concept was that at the time, we didn't have a lot of online pharmacies around. So we want to create a pharmacy, but ours is going to be online. And I was crazy enough to think that that pharmacy would have pharmacists sleeping in there 24 hours to answer people's queries. Crazy. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to do that, but that was the thing that was on my mind. We created the business. And because that was our niche, we stayed in there. It wasn't easy. You know, it took several years for everything to turn around. But because we thought this is how we wanted to do it, we stayed in, we were resilient, and we made sure that it happened. We could have, you know, gone and opened a brick and mortar pharmacy to say we want to be like Boots or NS Chemist or any other pharmacy that was around. But just going online opened us to a whole different level. From the marketing to the branding to the this, I had to learn all of that myself. And took all the skills that I acquired, the way I saw marketing being done, SEO being done, I applied that to my business. And you know, it's been great.
Yeah. A change in mindset. I think that deserves an applause. That deserves an applause. A change in mindset. A change in mindset. And I like what Robert Kennedy said, and I quote, he says that some men see things as they are and ask why. I dream of the things that never were and ask why not. Some men see things as they are and ask why. I dream of things that never were and ask why not. Challenging himself to bring into reality. And that's the example he just shared with us, that how do you do it differently? I think Sweetie has also mentioned that you need to create a unique selling position. And I believe that when you started, it wasn't an easy task at all. And now it has become the norm. Everything has gone online thanks to COVID. Let us clap once again for our online viewers who are with us, and even as we continue. Maybe along the line, kindly take note of the questions that are erupting out of your the discussions and note them. At the appropriate time, we'll give room to all of you to ask them, and then we'll respond. Let us come back to the basics, entrepreneurial challenge or setting up. It is not an easy thing. Derek has just spoken about it, that, it's been 10 years since he started. Yes, he finished school. But these days, it's not that easy to start something.
I don't think the statement is it's not easy. It's because naturally, the natural human instinct is to be comfortable. That's natural, right? So that's why education works for a lot of people. You want to be comfortable. You want things to be done for you. Convenient, right? That's the natural thing. But you want to be the Einstein, right? You want to be the person that sees the apple fall. And you say, wait, what happened to that apple? What's the process? You know, and that's difficult. It's always difficult. Anybody that's got a business or even thinking of creating a business knows that the difficulty is trying to make it work. And in fact, you're crazy enough to say you want to do business because that the path is easy to just say you want to have, because at the end of the month you're going to get your pay whether the business works or not. But can you imagine for 10 years I've not had a paycheck and I have to make sure when I go to work the business must work, otherwise I'm not eating. They're not eating. You know, so it's really people saying that this is tough, I'm going to make it work because diamonds are made in the mud.
Diamonds are made in the mud. Can't you clap for that? Or maybe you didn't hear it well. The tough things doesn't come. It is men that shoulder them. And you see, it resonates with it takes courage. It takes some kind of bravery. She was sharing with us her experience that she's stopping work. You can't just get up and say that I want to quit my job. Or how many of you want to do that? You get up in the morning, you don't have, you say, oh, I want to. But the core issue, and let me come to you, Deaconess Setonam. You know, man in nature wants comfort. I want to sleep. I want to relax the body. I don't need to stress myself. As for this work, if this is what is taken out of me, then tell your boss that I'm not interested. Current day youth, we want comfort. We're talking about reading. We don't want to read. We just want to watch. And unfortunately, the things we watch, by the time we get up, it's all gone. How do we challenge ourselves to meet the requirements you are looking for in order to be the first among the equals that have submitted those applications?
Okay, I think earlier on I heard, something about mindset. You know, your mindset would, and there's a saying that your attitude determines your altitude. Your attitude would always determine your altitude. So the kind of mindset you have would determine where you'll be going and where you want to see yourself. Unfortunately, our youth of today, this afternoon we're trying to define the various generational gaps, the Gen Zs, the baby boomers and all that, we're trying to. So let's try and define what the issue is with the current generation. What has changed? Okay, is it the fact that everything is smart around us, so we want our lives to be smarter? Meaning you wake up and you just want things to happen like this for you. It doesn't work that way. That is why, unfortunately, we have a lot of vices in the system, because we think that everything around us should be smart. So I want a job, I want it now. How do I say, from where some of us are coming from, my dad, for instance, he's an academician. I mean, he believes in the school system and all that. So when we're all growing up, he's like, go finish your secondary school. We go to the sixth form. Right from sixth form, you are going to the university, you are doing your master's, and he just wants it that way. But unfortunately, back then, it wasn't we were not in the smart world as we are now. Times were hard. The kind of homes we come from, there were challenges. So some of us had to step back and, do some jobs. But we still had that goal that at all cost, we would navigate our way through, if not immediately, in the future, and upgrade ourselves. So we went to school for some time, stepped out of school, went onto the job market, worked for some time, then went back to the classroom, and that was how it was working for us. But, and then you need to volunteer yourself for instance, volunteered myself to a lot of internships.
Let me interrupt with that volunteerism you are talking about. These modern day youth will not do anything for you for free.
That is where I'm coming to. That's where I'm coming to.
Modern day youth will not do anything. The first question they ask is that, how much is in it for me?
Yeah.
If what I'm saying is not what it is, you can, you ask him to come and do something instead of looking at it, of building up a skill and improving what do you call it, his CV or his abilities. What is in it for me? If there is nothing, I can't do it. Is that a good?
It's not. It's not. So I'll give you an example. So I have an employee. He works in a particular section. And then there was a vacancy or a gap in another section. So he was poached from where he was. He has been in that position for like 3 years. And he was very comfortable. Then he was poached to another section. And the guy kept nagging and complaining. So he came to my fore, and I invited him, and I asked him one question. Okay, you've been in this role for the past 3 years. My question to you is, what are your ambitions in the next 3 years, in the next 5 years to come? Where do you see yourself? Because what you are doing, you've been doing that, for the past 3 years. And looking at the salary you are receiving. So what is your goal as a person? Because before you can move one step ahead, you need to have additional skills. This skill thing we are talking about, you need to multitask, learn to multitask. And one of the ways to multitask is to be nosy around, to avail yourself to the opportunities, which a lot of us are not ready to do.
Without thinking about appropriate compensation.
Yes, without compensation.
I think Derek wanted to make a point. Derek, what's your view of that?
Yeah,
maybe give us a flip side of it, or
I wouldn't generalize it.
Okay.
Now the reason being that I often get a lot of people who come and ask for, free job. They want to do internship and things like that.
Here in Ghana?
Here in Ghana.
Okay.
Yes. We've had it. In fact, every year we probably have about 5-6 people who come in and they just work for free.
Okay.
And I find that very interesting. Okay. So I can't really, in my sector, it's different.
Are they part of the few that have understood the need for volunteerism or maybe internships to be able to build oneself up? I know in your profession, for instance, it's not just getting the qualification, being able to work in a place and put in practice the theories you have learned, the various different kinds of medicine or the generic ones. It gives you a practical application. So that may be it.
That may be the case, yes.
That may be
yeah.
it. But, sweetie.
I want to take a slightly different approach.
Okay.
I like to say that I'm the last batch of the millennials who grew up in Gen Z era, you know. So our life experiences were with the Gen Zs, but we're actually born, the last people to be born in millennials. So I don't know whether I'm a zillennial or whatever. But I don't think that the youth do not want to volunteer. And I'm saying this based on my experiences.
Okay.
When I went to GTV Sports Plus in level 200 in school, hi Muna. Muna was my mate. They were not going to pay me anything. Maybe I had an advantage because my dad had worked there for years, so the name Abochi was there, and so they said, yeah, come on, we'll take you. But they did not pay me anything, and I did it. When I took a break and I wanted to get back into media, after I quit that job, when I went to DGN, Daily Guide Network, at the time I had already got my master's, and they were offering to pay me peanuts. I did not bargain because I had my eye on something else. Basically did that work for free because the money they paid me couldn't even sustain my cost of transportation. Luckily, I had a small car. So talk about fuel, right? But I was very willing to do the work, to pay my dues, because I had a vision of where I wanted to go. And I run Girl Get Up Africa, an organization that seeks to reorient young women to live intentionally. I think if you leave your life to chance, you will never get anywhere. If you're lucky, maybe. But if you're intentional about what you want to do with your life, you will chalk so many successes that your mind will be blown. So at Girl Get Up Africa, every single person who works with us is a volunteer. I, at the end of each project, find them some money, some commission, because I don't want young girls working for free. I want to empower you in a way. But I have about 6 girls who all came to me because they want to work for free. So I slightly disagree that the youth do not want to volunteer. If anything, they don't want to volunteer in places that they don't have an interest in, or they do not have a vision of what that could do for them. So again, if you're here and you're thinking, should I volunteer in a place that does not fit into my career trajectory, absolutely do it. Even if it's something that you don't see yourself doing for the next year, do it. Because you got the skills that will surprise you where you would put it to use. So no, on behalf of the millennials and the Gen Zs, we are not against volunteering.
Okay.
I disagree with that.
That's a good one, and I think it's a key take-home point that it doesn't matter the kind of job or the opportunity that you have. And on the back of that, let me just read something that was said by one of the world's richest person we know. Today, you won't find anything anywhere without making use of one of his products. Just give me a minute. And it says, and I'm referring to Bill Gates. It says that selling old newspapers or working while on vacation is not beneath your social standing. Your grandparents have a different word for it. They call it opportunity. Selling old newspapers or working while on vacation is not beneath your social standing. Your friends have a different word for it. They call it opportunity. So it doesn't matter whether it's related to what you are doing or not. If you have that opportunity, just grab it. I think that it's time to put your hands together once again for our panelists so far. Time is running. Time is running. Derek, let me ask, how do we take advantage of the current challenges, National Association of Unemployed Graduates. The job market is a pile of applications. How can we take advantage of this to veer into entrepreneurism? I mean, starting our own kind of business or our own kind of work. How do we do that?
Okay, thanks. So usually it starts with a burning desire. If you get into business when you have no desire and passion to do it, one, you will fail, and two, you would have lost a lot in that process where you just wasted your time trying to build a business because other people would have been spending time acquiring several skills. So the first thing you need is a burning desire to solve a certain problem. Before I started a podcast a year ago I started a podcast. I had a burning desire to solve a problem of, self-development and entrepreneurship in Ghana and have a space where people can sit and have conversations with like-minded people. Now, from that, then I have the passion to carry on and keep doing it. Even though it is not paying me, I'm willing to do it out of pocket. And it's costing me a lot of money to do it because I have the money. But somebody is doing Bar Stop Boys and clearing the streets. He didn't need money to start. He just needed a bunch of people who are willing to support his dream to come on the same journey with him and then clean the streets. And before you know it, in the next 2-3 years, I think they're going to end up, having a waste management services. And the government is going to pay, and you are going to pay for them to collect your rubbish. So really, what do you have the desire to solve? What do you not like seeing? Identify that problem and then look within you. We say this thing about, is that your life calling? Is that what you think God has called you to do? And if it's in alignment, great, you have yourself a good business. We have the people like, Steve Jobs and, Larry Page, and these people who have solved a lot of problems for us. Mark Zuckerberg, these are people who are visionary leaders who saw problems that the world needed to fix, and they went after it. So you can start very small. Now, there are some businesses that you can start without being innovative. There's nothing new, right? Everything you want to be, the person you want to be, whatever you want to be is already been done. So just look at how somebody has done it and then add your twist to it. You can decide to, start a supermarket or a pharmacy. It's nothing new. But if you're passionate about it, you can make it work in a different way. Many people, the biggest problem we have is the budget, the startup, the funding, the money.
The budget.
But I always say this, right? So in 2014, I had a business plan this thick. I was in central London asking old white men to give me money to start my business. And when I created the business plan, I had not even read it. We sat in front of this guy who said, well, I've read it, but it's not realistic. It doesn't make sense. We don't think you guys can do it. I took that thing away in a lot of emotions, a lot of pain, and I went to see a bunch of my friends, and I said, look, I can make this work. We are ready to make this work. And they invested in the business. You see, I've always said, if you have a great idea and you're a good individual, you don't need money. You just need to show up and talk the talk and walk the walk, and people will be willing to put money behind you. Of course, if you come and tell me that you want to open a spare parts business, and a regular supermarket, a regular pharmacy, it's nothing special about it. Most people will not put their money into it. But if you told me today that you wanted to create the next AI thing that will change healthcare in Ghana, there are many people that will be willing to put millions of dollars in that venture. So that's the sort of thinking you need to have. Whether you like it or not, from the time our forefathers were born up until now, there are more millionaires today and billionaires today than there's ever been. So people are getting richer. People are getting smarter. And people are being a lot more enlightened about this whole business world, whether we like it or not. So this is the age where anybody, we have 17-year-olds, 20-year-olds in Dubai, the US, the UK, they have so much money. In fact, there are people in Ghana I've met They've got so much money, either through forex trading or online drop shipping or, something. It's just people need to search for what is working and then add their own twist to it.
People need to search for what is working and add their own to it. So you can create your own, and like you're saying, you have to have a burning desire. You have to let that desire drive you into wanting to do. I can tell you, and like you say, it's the passion, it's the desire to get things done. Recently, I keep telling them in the office that I want to remove this jacket. I want to remove this jacket and enter into the bush. Enter into the places where you have to cross the rivers and where people will not dream about. And somebody would say that you have a good paying job. Why do you want to leave? But the real money is out there, seeking to provide solutions for people. We are at the stage, if you have any question, it's question time. If you have any ideas, I want to hear from you. How many of us here want to be entrepreneurs, or you want to have a job? All of you are okay, or you're all students, so are you all students? But who even says that when you are student you can't do work?
In fact, when you're a student, that's the biggest opportunity in life. You have the biggest clientele, your friends, your mates, and all that. When you're a student, you can be creative and come up with the most ridiculous thing you think about. Just try it and see.
So the job doesn't start when you finish graduation. No, it starts, and what you start right there will determine how far you go. So I'm going to give people opportunity to ask questions if there are questions lingering on your mind as far as this subject and this topic. Okay, we have a first one from there, a second one, and then okay. So please mention your name, where you're coming from, and then you ask your question.
My name is Ishmael from Helps Temple. Okay.
Helps Temple. Okay.
Yes, please. I have a question concerning having a business plan. Now, from my understanding, if you look through society and you are able to find a problem, and then you are able to design a solution to that problem that can schedule reward for you, that's what we call the entrepreneurship. So from that solution, based on, partnering with maybe the wisdom of God or whatever knowledge you have access to, you draw a business plan. But then once you have a business plan, another problem also comes, in place. That's getting the resources to, implement that business plan. Now, I can say we have, from my own perspective, I can say we have two different sets of business plan. One that is normal, you can see it around. But there are sometimes too that you can see that this idea that I have is unique in some way, right? Now, once you want the funding to start this unique business plan that you think you have, it means that you have to check whether you have the resources to start it or you need help with obtaining that resources. Now, if you are at the side where you need help in obtaining that resources, whereby you need to seek for investors and, people to help you implement it, and at the same time, you don't know who you can trust with this idea. And please, am I on point?
Yes.
So then,
just round
the question here is, when you have a unique business plan and you want to look for investors, but at the same time too, there is no system in Ghana that I know which protects business ideas that you can say, okay, I'm going to register this idea. So when I bring it out and someone tries to, outrun me, or because that person has the funding to do it, yes, which means that I don't have anything to do because, I've not licensed it or there's no copyright in my name. What should I do?
Okay. So, simply put, you have a beautiful idea. You have put it together, but you don't have the resources. How do I protect it to make sure? We want to take one or two, then we'll respond to it. So how do I protect it so that somebody doesn't take my brilliant idea away. Yes, I saw a hand there for a second question.
My name is Faith from Faith Temple.
Faith Temple.
Yes, please. On the issue of voluntary work or assignment in a job, and we talked about internship. I would say internship. Let it. This is the fact. Nobody would have done any voluntary work if not that our institutions force us to go and do it to get a mark. That is why they come to your workplaces to do the internship for free.
Thank you. I like that. I like that.
In our universities and institutions, we are being forced. It's part of our academic assessment. So they come there to do them, then go back, send a report, then they'll get the mark at the end of the semester. So I want a deep explanation on the voluntary job aspect.
A deeper explanation on what we call volunteering or voluntary job. Is there a third question so that they can respond? Do we have another question? Okay. So, Derek, or you would want to start with the... Okay.
All right. So, have you heard of the term NDA, non-disclosure agreement? Great. So, you have a business plan and you think it's a novice idea. Fantastic. Now, the first thing you need is an NDA. That should be at the back of the business plan. And you don't just discuss the idea with anybody and everybody. If you think I'm smart enough, I've got more money than you, and I'm in the same sector, don't bring the idea to me. You need to pick and choose who you think can help your dream. And when you go to that person, before you even start discussing, get the NDA signed. If the next 2 years, they've started that business, you have a case. You can sue them. Yeah.
Ghanaians are not too much interested in signing agreements. You are too bureaucratic.
Nah.
Wasem ye ding. Adia ye kakakre na wako fakra tanke siye busemfa yensan shasi.
Unless we are ready to push these agendas, we can never have a system like the West.
Okay.
Because if I'm coming to you with my business plan, and no matter how much money you have, and I say sign and you're going to sign, you're not ready to listen to the idea. That's what it is.
Okay.
Okay, let me just chip in here. I think another way around what we are discussing is, in reality, it's a difficult one. I mean, if you want to start your own business here, even if you go to the banks, I have done it. I was not, the bank did not help me. And now they tell you to go to family and friends. I have tried that too. It didn't work for me. Okay? So that's the reality on the ground. Here. Let's just be frank. So the other way around it is, as we said, as an entrepreneur, yes, you have a dream. You have a vision. Okay? Now, you should have other plans, like apart from your main, your passion, you should have other plans, the plan Bs and the plan Cs. Something that you can work around, to gather some money, okay? To gather some money for yourself so that you start up your main dream. Are we there?
Okay. So let me, Sweetie, before you come in, so we want to, I think that contribution is very good and very excellent. His question was, how do I protect the idea that I have so that nobody steals it away? And I have a very practical example. A young guy, very brilliant. He's gifted. And the ideas keep popping up. But this practical challenge is there. Unfortunately for him, like you say, there was no NDA. He discussed it with. By the time he realized somebody had launched his idea in a certain way, which he wasn't excited about. And so I think it's a key, important point that we need to take note of, so that even if it is a relation and you can't be too sure that this person will take my idea away, the first thing you do is to do an NDA agreement. If there's no NDA agreement, there's no disclosure. Okay.
I want to bring the God factor in.
Yes.
Listen to me. Rihanna has a beauty brand. Beyonce has a beauty brand. Selena Gomez has a beauty brand. They're all doing the same thing. So go ahead and, by all means, have an NDA. But go ahead and copy the plan. You won't do it the way I'll do it. You are not me. You won't move how I move. You don't know the people, you don't know the backing I have. You don't know the grace on my life. By all means, go ahead and copy it. If you're afraid that fear, right, it would cripple you. If you're afraid that someone will still, and also, let me just say that maybe I'm a big risk taker, okay? Like I said, I quit my job with no plan. So I'm a big risk taker. I do not care if you're the one I want you to fund my business and I think you can steal the plan. By all means, I'll come to you and discuss it with you. Because at the end of the day, there are about 8.1 billion people on this planet Earth. We have enough customers to accommodate every dimension of the same business idea. So don't let your fear of someone stealing your plan prevent you from actually exploring the options that you have. And trust that God knows where he's taking you, right? You must have something that necessitated that idea coming to you, that particular person. Every night we go to bed, God gives everybody an idea. The people who run with it, they're the ones who get successful. So don't let fear stop you. Human beings are...
Sweetie, let me interject. You see, you are in the media space. The first network to break the news is critical.
But the way other networks treat it is also essential.
But I think the point here is that somebody picks your idea and quickly goes, implements it, and takes ownership of it. And I think that is the point he's making. And like he's saying,
intellectual property, right?
Very good.
That's why I started. By all means, have an NDA.
Yeah.
But don't let the fear of what if he steals my idea prevent you from actually taking that step, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
But if the person takes your idea, by all means, take them on. The laws in Ghana work. Until you've not, if you've not been in trouble before, you think laws don't work in this country. The laws actually work. So if someone steals your idea and you actually have patent or intellectual property, copyright protection and all that, you can take them on, okay? What the angle I'm coming from is that fear of what if they steal my idea should not stop you from showing the idea to the people you think can help you. I believe in failing forward. If you've not failed 3-4 times already, you are not even ready to start a business, okay? So go and show it to someone, let this person steal it. Lesson 1. Go and show it to the other person, let the person do whatever with it. Lesson 2. The next person you show it with, he will say, how much do you need? And write a check for you. And you will do it so differently than the other people who stole it. At the end of the day, you are the original creator of the idea. So what are you afraid of?
Okay, so at this point, let me read what Jeffrey Gitoma said. And he said that obstacles can't stop you. Problems can't stop you. Most of all, other people can't stop you. Only you can stop yourself. Let's put our hands together for our panelists. Perchance, do we have any questions online that we can ask on?
There was a question about volunteering work
yes.
that I want to get into. So I get your point, and I think it's very valid that most of the people who come to volunteer are looking for academic, credential of a sort. But let me make it quite practical. So, for example, you want to be an engineer, and then you go to an engineering firm, and they tell you that they are unable to employ a certain, anybody really, because they have a certain cutoff point, and they cannot pay you because they have monies allocated. And usually they'll try to explain long things for you, right? Yeah. Where volunteering comes in, you say, okay, but I do want these skills. So can I do the job for a month or 2 just to build the skills? After you acquire those 3 skills and you've shown them how dedicated you are in the company, someone will resign. Nobody will stay in that office for a million years. Someone will resign. Something will happen. And then they'll say, come and Try it and let's see. Volunteering in Ghana, it works. I've had people who came into the newsroom at Joy News and they couldn't be paid a penny. But they stayed on because they wanted job experience. Now, when we're ready to employ, they won't go out and say, where are the people who have the skills? We have seen you in here. We have seen how you work. We would rather go with you than go and ask people who outside to bring in their CVs or whatever. So please, do not underestimate the power of volunteering. I've done it. I've worked practically for free for so many years. I started emceeing for free for my family and friends. Today, it's a certain money. If you don't pay me, I won't come. You know, because I think I've paid my dues. And it's because I had a vision. So volunteering for academic purposes, excellent. But volunteering to build skills, to build experience. How many job offers are asking for a certain amount, amount of a certain period of experience? I don't know if I'm couching it right. Like, we want 2 years experience. Where are you going to get the experience if nobody is ready to hire you? So put in some work, pay your dues, trust God that He knows where He's taking you, and just do that work. Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. I can't feel your applause. I can't feel your applause. How I wish we would continue discussing the issues, because there are certain components that we haven't even looked at all, even for those that are working, who are not too satisfied with what they are doing. What do you do to change onto and self-development? You get a job, the pay is okay, do you but all too soon, time has flown so much so that we have to try and round up. But I want to just reiterate these key points that we have picked out of this. Number one, you're saying that you should get something else in addition to what everybody has. Don't think that you have a degree, I have a degree, and so that is it. What else do you have different from what everybody has? And that is what will make the point for you. Number two, don't just submit one application and say that I have submitted it, and so I'm waiting for it. Your response will never come. And I like the way Derek put it. He will keep sending the emails even up till the time that the deadline, so that when you go and there are about 15 different emails from Derek, you ask the question, what at all is Derek looking for? And that will be his unique selling position. So keep submitting it and don't give up. Number three, don't just bundle your resume and dump it. You have a resume for a fitter, a mechanic, or a carpenter. And then there is an advert that they're looking for a pharmacy assistant. And then you pick the carpentry CV and then deliver it. It will just be thrown into the trash. Try and rearrange it to suit what is being looked for. And that is the key point that would attract the attention required so that you can get an interview. Number four, you need to have a unique selling point. How do I do it different so that it will catch attention? How do I express it so that it will be different from all the others? And she talked about one critical thing that I used to do a lot. Get some lemon green paper and put your CV or your application on. When they look at the stack of applications, yours would be hanging in somewhere. Who is this? And that will bring it out. So find your strengths and your key selling points and make use of them. Number five, shift your mindset. Shift your mindset. Oh, where do you? Where do you be? And you are not the person who is coming to reinvent. We have done this over and over and over. Shift your mindset. Challenge yourself. Like Edison said, how many more times have I learned how not to do it. And in the 99th time, he was successful. So shift your mindset. Shift from the way of looking for a job. How do I start a business though I don't have? Shift your mindset. Number 6, focus on the goal. Focus on the goal. What is it that you want to do? By this time, you should be able to tell whether I want to be a singer, or I want to be a farmer, or I want to. How many of you know that farmers are the richest people you can find? You don't know. You don't know. Yes, there are billionaires who are into IT. Yes, she's talking about the fourth revolution. And you need to get those skills. But there are areas that you can look at and make sure that you focus on them. Don't get distracted. Number 7, have a passion, a burning desire. Let the desire drive it, you. Let it move you. Let it ignite your dream and your goal, and it becomes a reality. Number 8, volunteering. Be willing to do any kind of offer that you are given, whether it comes with pay or not. Your goal and your objective is that you want to build your CV, you want to build your experience, you want to build your expertise. And that is the goal, and that is what will open up. And maybe let me add one more. Proper partnership. We talked about NDA. Put things on paper. Put things on paper. Put things on paper. Get somebody to guide you. Draft something so that whatever you have, you protect it. And registering our business ideas. We normally don't do it. Derek, we hardly do it.
No, but those sort of things, there's usually nothing like that. So you can trademark a business name, including, the services underneath the business. But otherwise, both would have never happened because Uber did it first. So you can't exactly do that.
So just create a trademark for yourself so that when anybody sees it, he can identify it with you. And that is what will open the opportunity for us. We want to thank our panelists, but we would call upon one of our own to appreciate our panelists. And then on the back of that, we'll let our senior pastor say a statement and give us a little word before we move out of this place. So let's call our senior pastor, Reverend Marvin Amponsa Entry.
Okay, so thank you so much for the opportunity. I want to thank our panelists once again for their time and for the things that they have shared with us. I wanted to ask a question. And as young people, as students, we are in school, we are struggling, and you are saying that we should do things free. And I love the way Sweetie, put it. You are building your skill. Deaconess Eto says something that it's not that there's no job. There are a lot of jobs. But do we have the skill that match up with that vacancy? There are still jobs. There are companies right now, there are vacancies. But the truth is that some of us don't have the skill, the required experience to fill that vacancy. So I will advise the young people who are here, look, offer yourself. There's what we call experiential benefit. It is more than money. That experience that you gain can give you a job, a higher paid jobs. So whilst you are in school, offer your service. But I did my internship in Joy FM, the year 2002. I worked well. When I finished school, I worked at some place, I think for 2 years. The next place I got job was Joy Multimedia. Because whilst in school, even though they were giving me something small, the passion, I gave my best. So when there was opportunity, and then my name popped up, they said, oh, like you said, Marvin, we know him. Let's give him the preference, the option first. So you may not know, even where you are doing your service, sometimes service people, service personnel, they are not giving their best. They think, oh, it's a buying who have posted me to a place, and so they do anything that they want to. Please, this is just an advice. You may not know the day that opportunity will come that little service or the volunteer that you offered can open another door for you. So this is just an advice to the young people. Let's offer our service. Yeah. It will help us. It will help us. And whatever you are doing, do it well. Do it well. So thank you so much for the time.
Let's do it once again for our senior pastor. Yes, in the book of Timothy, Bible says that whatsoever your hand finds to do, do it as unto the Lord. In Ecclesiastes, it says that there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave wherein you go. So see that option, and you should strive to look for people that or opportunities to be able to do it for free and use it to build your CV. My first job that I had was a product of that. I was doing a lot of things just for free. And there was one job that I did that's even just data entry. Data entry. And the volume of work and the kind of sacrifice. You know, when we finished the work, there was an opportunity at the university and they called us. We went for the interview. When they looked at the things I have written, they were asking me when next I can pick up a form and get enrolled. So what you think there's no money for is the gateway to open the opportunity for you. Let me give you one more quote before we ask our sister Mona to come and it's said by Milton Bell. It says that if opportunity doesn't knock, build a door. If opportunity doesn't knock, build a door. We want to, before Mona comes, just give each of the panelists a few minutes, maybe 2 minutes each, to give their summary and their final comments, and then we'll invite the others, Mona, to give us a vote of thanks. So let me start with ladies first. So, Dickness Eto.
All right. We want to thank the organizers of this beautiful session. In fact, we need a lot of this. This is what we need. This is what the youth need a lot. So I would say more of these sessions to give our youth the exposure, the information that they need to guide them. And then, very importantly, you should also make the effort to navigate information. Go on the internet. Now, every information is available. So wherever you are, you have your phones. Please, use those phones wisely. Use those phones judiciously. Get the information that would give you that drive, the drive we are talking about. Let it get those informations to move you to your next level so that you'll be adding value to yourself each and every day, so that when you have enough information, it helps you. You are well informed and you know how to move around and navigate your way through maybe a job search, or you are on a job, you want a change. The informations are there. So let's go for those information and not use the social media negatively. Thank you.
Sweetie, your final comments.
You've got to have faith. All right? And this is not just because we're in a church. I think every one of you here has found something special, right? The mere fact that this is a church program and you actually came, you found something, and hold on to it. I'm walking proof that God exists. I'm walking proof that if you can hold on to a dream so badly and not see obstacles and just ask God to make it happen for you, it will. So you've just got to have faith. Head, heart, and hand. You should be very mindful. Think. You have to think to the point that your head is hot. You should be able to control your mind, your awareness. It's a different conversation. Oh, let me use the opportunity to invite the ladies here to join Girl Get Up. Una can give you more information later. But head, think, your ability to navigate your own awareness, your consciousness at every point. I like to say I'm a 24-hour person. You won't catch me off guard, because if you're pushing me to be angry, I know, and I will not give you that because I'm aware. Heart, you've got to have faith. Believe in something. Believe it will work for you. Most of the people who make it, they make it because they believed it would work for them. All right? And hand, whatever you want to do with this life, do it diligently. Your work will speak volumes more than your words will. So head, heart, hand. You've got to have faith.
Derek?
I think I wanted to bring this in, but I didn't get a chance, so thanks for giving me the opportunity. Mentorship is very important. When I left Ghana to the UK, I had very little clue about a computer. And I met someone who was very good at computer, Ernest Asare. And he taught me almost every skill that I learned. And that skill is what I used to create my business. That skill still pays me today. So mentorship, learn from people and be willing to serve them so they teach you what they know. Yeah? All right.
That's so excellent. And I believe that we have all picked up something today. If not at all, we have had about 8 or 9 key points. Their final comments are loaded. And we'll run another edition of this. Would liaise with leadership of the church. Maybe before the year ends, we'll need to get another one, so that as we continue doing it, as we continue talking about it, it would materialize. There are a lot of us, future business billionaires, that are sitting here with ideas. It is left for you to ignite them and let it come out. And I believe that once God has given us the life, He's given us the grace, and He's given us the hands, He will make sure that whatever we have asked of Him, we will get it done. Mona, please come and thank us.
Good evening, everyone. Hasn't it been a learning experience? I have learned a lot, so much, and I'm glad we made this happen. Before I give the vote of thanks, I just want to say something Derek mentioned right now, and then I think Auntie Eto also said something about it. That is mentorship, and then being nosy. That is what has brought me here. She shared her experience. We did English language. In fact, English language education. We were supposed to be teachers. I got lucky to be posted at GMPC, when I got there, I asked myself, what can I make out of this? I had no knowledge of oil and gas, petroleum, nothing. They posted me to the HR department. Now I started asking questions. I'll go to every team lead and then ask what their specific role is. That is how I started. And then the second thing is, I met one of the managers in the department and then created a mentorship. So now they were mentoring me as to career path, what you want to do. I thought I knew what I wanted to do. It was when I started, I'm like, okay, I didn't even know what I wanted to do. And by the time I finished my national service, I'd already developed what I wanted to be. And I was like, okay, this is what I want to be, an HR person. I don't have any degree in HR, but I can testify that I am the HR manager in my company. I didn't do any professional, nothing. So ask questions, be nosy, offer yourself. Let them give you the work and ask them, how should I do it? Ask the questions, they will teach you. They will teach you because they want people to help them. So if you go, there is a lot of loads. Oh, let me help you. How do I go about this? They will teach you, and that is how you learn. So please, I want to encourage all of us that as we are growing up, let us learn that habit of allowing ourselves to be used. Thank you. On behalf of the youth ministry, I want to thank our guests, Auntie Eto, Sweetie, Derek. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. Look, I know you guys are busy, and today the traffic was terrible, but you made time and then came, and we don't take it for granted. Thank you so much, and God bless you. I want to also thank the organizers of the program. Thank you so much for your hard work. Thank you so much. This was well put together. And also thank the leadership of the church. We appreciate your support from Reverend Marvin to every member of the church. Thank you so much for the support you have been giving us from day one till now. I hope that you have learned a lot, and as you are going, you talk to your colleagues about what you learned, and then we grow from there. So tomorrow we are going to have our worship night. We are inviting everybody here. And before I forget, please, thank you to all the invited churches who came. Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate you a lot. Thank you so much. Yeah, so tomorrow we are having a worship night. We are throwing the invite to each and every person here. Come and experience the love of God here. Come. And I just don't want to talk about it. Just come and then experience it. And it will be marvelous here. Thank you so much.
Let's do it better. Let's do it better. Let's do it better. Let's do it better. And like we said, for all the churches, maybe we just have to mention so you will see you Helps Temple. Let's see you Helps Temple, please. Wow, wow. Faith Temple. Faith Temple. Is Ashalibuchi around? And headquarters, is there anyone from headquarters? Okay. So thanks so much for your time. It's been very worthwhile for this discussion. Once again, we want to thank you. We don't want you to miss tomorrow's worship night. The week is packed. This is just a teaser of what we have. So tomorrow, we want all of you to rally yourself and come once again, and then let's come and worship God with our hearts, with our minds, with our hands, and with everything. And then on Sunday evening, we'll all meet here and have a climax of our youth week. But just get prepared. Before the end of the year, we'll try and put another one in place, which will focus a lot more on just entrepreneurship. And we will put that together so that from there, we'll be able to develop our own businesses, have our own workers that we can employ. Believe that the Lord himself will. So once again, thank you, Derek, Sweetie, and Diknese Tonam for gracing the occasion and making it so beautiful.
Oh, we are encouraging them to network. They should know each other. Please make a friend.
So try and look for somebody
Yes.
not from your church.
Yes.
If you are from Helps Temple, look for somebody from Caris Temple and network. If you are from Faith Temple, look for somebody from Helps or Caris Temple and network. And yes, and thanks so much. Bless you, bless you. We'll say a closing prayer. We'll say a closing prayer, and then we'll be out of here. But we are proud of all of you. Clap for yourself. Clap for yourself. I can't feel your clap. I can't feel your clap. Thank you so much for making it special. Shall we be upstanding even as we pray? Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for the opportunity to come before you and to learn things that will make us better and improve us to be better people. We pray, Lord Jesus, let this seed that has been sown, let it germinate. Water it with your grace and your blessings, and let it be fruitful beyond measure. We thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. In the name of Jesus, even as we go home, we pray that let your Spirit lead us and guide us and help to bring our dreams into a reality. In the name of your Son, Jesus, have we pray with thanksgiving. Amen. Shall we share the grace? May the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us now and forevermore. Amen. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow us all the days of our lives, and we shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. So we have item 13 available. We have item 13. So go to the entrance there. You get some item 13 to pick up. And thanks so much for coming.